Welcome back to the live lounge, everyone, here at Kartmasters. I'm your host, Chris McCarthy. We are rolling through the heats today on the track, but off it, we are catching up with the stars of Kartmasters. We've had all sorts of guests today, and now we move to definitely a star in our sport, but from a social media point of view, someone you're used to seeing on the other side of the camera. So we thank Kirsty Hockley from Fuel Your Media for joining us. I know it's going to be a very busy weekend for you. 20 clients you mentioned before we came on air in total. This must be an event that is very much at the forefront of your calendar when it comes to preparation.
Yeah, I started speaking to people in about April about whether they're doing the event and what they want going leading up to the event. Just a matter of planning because it's the 4 days, it's busy. When it's a smaller event, it's easier to kind of plan, but when it's the longer events, you have to plan way ahead and decide what content's going out on what days.
I want to talk about social media in karting. I guess a lot of people would assume that because it's where you're starting your racing career, that maybe it's not so important. But I think drivers like Joe Turney of Brandon Carr have proved that it can very much become a career in karting in itself. It's its own sport. Tell us how important social media is. And you mentioned you've got 20 clients here, I'm sure more in total. How much of an impact the work you've done with them has made?
So it's really important in the aspect of sponsors. If you want to gain sponsors or keep current sponsors happy, they love the exposure on all over the social media, and also goes down to their websites and things like that. I find sponsors love to share things onto their own social media as well, which gains even more exposure so that people outside the karting world. Also, just friends and family love to be able to see the content if they're not able to come to the events and see it. But also behind the scenes kind of things, people love to see that. And it's important to show the world what hard work has to go in to the drivers, not just on track, but also off track. And people don't always realise the hard work that the drivers put in. So it's good to just make the world aware of that, really.
Yeah, karting has really moved forward in terms of its coverage. I think Alpha Live we can thank for that as one of the main people, and fantastic photographers out there who do all sorts of events away from it. So how do you, as someone who does social media, then shed a light on the other things? Is that what you say is most important?
Yeah, I think it's important to just keep showing the behind the scenes things. I've noticed there's been a bit of a move in social media recently, and it's not always the on-track content that gets the most engagement. People are moving towards the behind the scenes things, and I think people are growing more interest of what the drivers have to do to get the results, basically. So there has been quite a move on social media in general, and videos, they're becoming so much more popular. So the use of videos throughout events and leading up to the events are really important, just to get the exposure out there of what they have to do every weekend. And it's week in, week out for them, isn't it? So
yeah. And would you say it's a great time for drivers to get used to that world? Because I imagine when it goes into single seaters or something like Genetic Juniors, Fiestas, it grows even more. Would that be correct?
Yeah. So what I've started doing with my clients recently is doing interviews with them as well. So at the end of the day, I get a microphone with them and a tripod, and I'm getting them to speak to a camera now while they're in karting, so they get used to it. Because I've seen drivers go up into the single seaters before and they have a camera in their face and they've never had it before, so they're a bit like, wow, what do I do? So I'm trying to get my clients used to that now, while especially some of the cadets, and they've actually become really good at speaking, and when they move up they'll be able to just comfortably speak in front of a camera then. And also it's changing the content up a bit again, and just instead of just the on-track photos and videos, it's something else for people to engage with.
And it's a lot of platforms to keep on top of as well now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's growing all the time as well. There's a new one added in recently for people like yourself to keep on top of yet another platform. So is it important to keep updated throughout everything?
Yeah. The main ones I use are Facebook and Instagram. Some people are joining onto TikTok slowly, but the algorithms are so difficult to keep up with. It's changing constantly. But most drivers and teams just like the Facebook and Instagram, but I'm looking into the new ones and seeing what we can do to work with them ones as well.
And let's talk about Kartmasters itself then. Big event for anyone, I think, here working. 4 days overall with practice and the finals. Yeah, you mentioned about all the planning you do. Just tell us how it's been now working here at the event and how it's changing each year.
Yeah, so the other years that I've done it, I've not had nowhere near as many clients as this. So this year it was a lot of, building up to it and working out what content I'm getting on what days, especially with the rain coming as well. I had to change it around a little bit from what I wanted to do. And it's a lot of just running around up onto the banking and then making sure I'm watching races and back onto the grid and whatever. I've got drivers across every single class, so I'm having to keep an eye on all of that. Because I'm also working with Omnia from Italy. Our businesses have collaborated, so I've got their clients as well that I'm looking after. So it's just a lot of running around.
Yeah, I imagine so. And you mentioned that brand there. That means you're working as a brand all across Europe on big championships, big events. Tell us about Kartmasters. You've been to a lot of paddocks now, I'm sure. How is it coming to this paddock? How does it stand out for you as one of the ones you enjoy the most working at?
Yeah, I really enjoy Kartmasters. Always look forward to it every year now. Like I said, I start talking about it in April, so it's a massive build up, and then it gets to the event. It's tiring, but it's really exciting to work at, and especially now working with Omnia, and they've got their clients, and we've got people from worldwide coming to race that don't always race in the UK. So it's exciting to see new drivers coming here to give it a go in the UK, especially in the wet. It changes it up for them a little bit. Some of them aren't so used to the wet driving, so yeah, it's good.
I think we should end maybe with a tip. There's going to be a lot of the drivers, parents, maybe watching on teams from this for this weekend and in karting in general, be it a club or national level. Give us a tip maybe, or a couple of tips of where people get started if they don't have a presence in social media from a racing aspect. Where do you get started? How do you go about it if you're not in a position to maybe get some assistance with it?
So what I've done with some people that haven't got social media but they've wanted to start building it up, I just start with the basic Facebook and Instagram page and just start slowly with race reports, how they're getting on, and you just have to build it up quite slowly. Make sure you're targeting the right people. If you're targeting to get sponsors, maybe follow some businesses that are likely to engage with you, and just keep targeting the right people with the content. And then you can build it up to start creating videos and stuff to suit the target audience that you've gained from the start. So.
Perfect. And I think we'll end then with our question of the day. You mentioned you've done a few Kartmasters now. If you could pick out one memory, your favourite Kartmasters memory, Kirsty, what would it be?
Kenzo Craigie winning. Can't actually remember what year it was. It 2020, I think he won. He was with Ambition, and I was working with them, so that was really good. So yeah, enjoyed that weekend as well. But hopefully I'll have some clients winning this weekend as well.
Hopefully there's a new one after this weekend. Well, Kirsty, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate all your time and your tips as well. I'm sure it's going to be very useful to all the drivers.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.